What are the 10-tail egos? And who is Ego Sasuke? Well, with the introduction of a Claw Grime, Boruto warned Code about this possibility, but it was too little, too late. Using a Shinjutsu called the Claw Mark, he had divided the 10 tails to create an army, like the ones we see in Shippuden. However, these are far more powerful. Unlike the ones in Shippuden, they're enhanced by Code's Claw Mark, a unique ability to mix chakra with iron in the blood. Not only are the Grimes enhanced by Code's chakra, but they can use the same Shinjutsu to act as portals to travel between previously marked locations and dimensions. Some of the Claw Grimes even have access to the Rinnegan and somewhat spoke to Kawaki, calling him an Ōtsutsuki, which was foreshadowing for what they could eventually become if Code allowed them to rapidly evolve. Boruto claims that they are biologically altered through his divine technique, and Code needs to immediately destroy them while they're under his control, implying that they won't be for much longer. They'll most likely surpass Code's level if they're allowed to keep on evolving in power and intelligence. Boruto seems to have knowledge on what they are and has probably seen them before, which isn't too far-fetched, but still doesn't make any sense yet. Surprisingly, Boruto then uses the flying Raijin to teleport to Code, showing us that aside from learning the Uzuko, he has also learned time-space ninjutsu. He claims that he isn't as good as using it as his grandpa was, meaning that Minato is probably capable of travelling between dimensions, which is absolutely insane considering that he probably could have escaped the Kamui dimension with the flying Raijin if he was trapped there by Obito during the attack on Konoha. When Boruto arrives there, the 10 tails seems to have disappeared, when all of a sudden a creature with a long beard pushes Boruto back and forces him to use lightning style. Code instantly recognizes this creature as his henchman Bug. We see that he's been bitten and has merged with the Claw Grime to become a miniature god tree. It seems to me when a Claw Grime bites you, they also gain your likeness so that they can clone you, which allows the 10 tails access to your intelligence. Like the 10 tails, these creatures have an instinct to consume others. Ego Bug then captures Boruto with his giant claw. Boruto teleports out using the flying Raijin, then deactivating the Uzuko, asking Code for his help, otherwise he's gonna die, implying that Ego Bug is stronger than Code, who's said to be far stronger than Jigen, who's obviously stronger than Naruto and Sasuke combined. Another creature then appears. At first glance this man looks like Jigen, but since Jigen is dead, it can't be a clone of him, which leads me to suspect that this is in fact the clone of a leaf ninja who was bitten last chapter. He seems to have a pretty chill demeanor. The purpose was to drain the chakra of his planet, however the goals have now changed since awakening their ego. What he means is that they're now conscious and are intelligent beings that are no longer driven by their primitive urges. The third ego reveals herself and calls Code a clown. I mean, she's not technically wrong looking at Code's record, but this is extra hilarious considering that she looks like Harley Quinn from DC, so yeah, she's a clown herself, unironically. I can't say who she's a clone of either, but she does look like that sensei of Team 10, Mogi I think her name is. Or if it's not her, it's probably just a clone of another random leaf villager, most likely a Konoshi who's bitten. Finally, the last ego reveals himself. At first his identity is shrouded in mystery since we can't see his face clearly, however it becomes apparent who he is a little later. I think you guys have probably figured it out. The scene then cuts to Kawaki who's talking to Shikamaru about Boruto's time-space ninjutsu and his intentions in fighting Code. Sarada arrives and is still actively defending Boruto from Kawaki, who has some serious cheek as he's still shitting on Boruto despite knowing full well that it's all just lies. Shikamaru gets pissed when both Sarada and Kawaki start arguing and face off, so threatens them. And I know a lot of people are memeing Shikamaru because apparently he's the weakest, but need I remind you that the last time my boy Shikamaru got angry, he nearly killed the 5 Kage combined. Although to be fair, Naruto wasn't at full power. But don't forget how strong these new era Kage are, since they could push back Momoshiki and Kinshiki. So take the goal more seriously, please, because I wouldn't be surprised if he fights one of the egos one-on-one soon. And if that happens, then the haters are gonna look real stupid. And that is a real possibility, seriously. Cutting back to Boruto, he plans to retreat and is suddenly attacked by the final ego who uses Chidori. So yeah, if it isn't clear already, this ego is a clone of Sasuke. And if that is the case, then we all know what happened to Sasuke. Boruto clashes with Ego Sasuke's Chidori with his Rasengan, and they're equally matched. He then soon finds himself disadvantaged against the egos combined, although they're probably not at full power either yet. Boruto then calls on help from Code again, but he snakes him and leaves him like the true rat that he is. I'm not too surprised, he just wants to get rid of Boruto at this point, but it's not like Code was gonna do anything, let's be serious. The guy's an absolute donkey, and has 0 wins to his name. The egos then allow Boruto to leave as they aren't animals and are curious about what he might do next. Boruto then escapes using a flying Raijin back to his headquarters on an unknown planet next to a tree. Apparently Boruto nearly destroyed the planet in his base form according to Kashin Koji, who reveals himself as Boruto's sensei or comrade, as many people predicted. So yeah, the likelihood is he probably learnt Sage Mode as well from him. I'd be surprised if he didn't, since he does have access to Toad's summonings if they are his summonings. Well, as you guessed, the final panel reveals that Sasuke was indeed bitten by a Claw Grime and is now a miniature god trait. This is clearly a parallel to Naruto being frozen in time, as Sasuke is now out of the picture, finally making this Boruto's story, as the fate of the world solely lies on his shoulders now. So to summarize, it seems that the God Tree has captured several people to gain consciousness and greater power, cloning them and their powers with the addition of extra abilities. If you take a look at Sasuke in particular, the ego clone of him has a double Rinnegan with both arms, meaning this is like a hypothetical prime version of Sasuke who is stronger than Jigen, and even possibly stronger than Baryon mode. I'm not saying he is, but it's definitely a possibility. Code creating the egos reminds me of how Hagoromo split the Jubi to create the Biju. It's a very similar process. They too gain consciousness but aren't inherently evil, so it could be a similar deal to that, in which they can be convinced and befriended, but it's too early to say. All we do know is that the egos are the primary villains for the foreseeable future, but I can't see them being like the main villain. Technically the main villain of this arc is the actual Ten Tails, but obviously after this arc concludes there's going to be another arc. Anyway, I expect things to get even more exciting in 2 Blue Vortex, in which the scale will most likely be escalated. It'll be very interesting to see whether Naruto and Sasuke eventually return to the story. I wouldn't bet any stocks on it yet, since it is implied that Naruto is still sealed after the village has been destroyed in Boruto and Kawaki's fight, as seen in chapter 1, which seems to happen a lot later after this point. If you have your own theories on what's going to happen next, let me know down in the comment section, because I read all of the comments, I even pin some of them, so look out for that. Anyway, it would be much appreciated if you could also like the video, maybe even subscribe. I'll definitely be doing more Boruto videos in the future, so thank you for watching and I'll see you later. Peace out.